You've probably heard the news by now, but Rooster Teeth, longtime YouTube channel, has been shut down after 21 years. Now, many of you think of Rooster Teeth and you think of things like Red versus Blue, Achievement Hunter. Dane, did you have any favorites from back in the day?
I mean, I think what I remember is Red versus Blue. Yeah.
Camp. It's kind of like what the replies to this post was. All these things from years and years ago. People have very fond memories of Rooster Teeth, but ultimately, Rooster Teeth shutting down. No one that's kept up with anything is really surprised about that at all. They've had a lot of controversies over the years. Some of the founding members left. They had been bought out a long time ago, and I kind of got some insight when it comes to like these companies being bought out that I want to talk about, because I remember. It was back in 2014, right? I was partnered with Maker, which was an MCN. And I remember the behind the scenes being at that time is that big companies like Disney and Warner Brothers they were shopping around trying to buy MCNs, YouTube studios. They were trying to get into the space somehow.
Okay.
Again, behind the scenes, conversations that I was a part of was the goal was to be bought out. That was the end goal, to like get that paycheck, to get that Disney money, to get that Warner Brothers money. And they got it. And after they got it, founders started leaving. People like key workers that were there started going to find other things because it was pretty much over. And so I remember being like in Maker and like people like they would hire new CEOs, like bring in high people, and they would just like come through and be like, what does anybody do here? Like, why did we buy this? To eventually they all got shut down. But Rooster Teeth was one of the ones that actually continued going because it was an actual studio that they had their own shows. They had Red versus Blue. They had like DVDs of Red versus Blue and Ruby and stuff like that. So they actually had their own shows. A lot of the other ones that got bought up, like Maker, tried to produce their own stuff. They kind of pretended to be a studio, but they'd never actually made anything that like mattered. And so, like Disney shut down Maker. But I do just remember the conversation being that was the goal. And it was also the same thing for YouTubers too. Like if a YouTube channel could get bought out by an MCN or like a bigger company, that was the goal. Now they'd have a contract to where they'd have to make content for like 2 years or whatever, but like the soul was just gone. That's happened to a lot. And so
you come in, you get the money, and then you just kind of wait till your contract's over. And
it's like, oh yeah, we'll give you $20 million and we own your IP. And you're like, okay, it's literally dead without me, but I'm going to take that money. And so the history of the Rooster Teeth is that Fullscreen, which is another MCN, kind of like a competitor to Maker back in 2014 when all this went down, Fullscreen bought Rooster Teeth. And then almost immediately after, Warner Brothers bought Fullscreen, and then proceeded to like milk them for everything they're worth. And then later on, AT&T and Warner Brothers and Discovery or whatever had like a big merger, like I think 2018, billions and billions of dollars. And so Rooster Teeth got absorbed into that, and then went under the Warner Brothers subsidiary or whatever. And it went on for like a couple more years, and then they got shut down because it was hemorrhaging money. They had like 150 employees. No one was watching anymore. Everyone had fond memories of like the stuff they had back in the day, but no one was really watching anything that they did anymore.
Yeah.
And then they also had a lot of controversies too that we'll talk a little more in depth about, because my buddy Pez actually sent me a document that he's quite knowledgeable in what happened with Rooster Teeth. And I think that's like a part that those companies really didn't understand what they were getting into back in the day when they were paying. I think they gave Maker like 200 million. What was it? 200 million or something like that. And all they had was contracts with YouTubers like me to where they took 30 to 50% of our revenue. And that's it. And the only reason we were signed with them is because way back in the day, they took legal liability for you, so that if you got copyright claim from playing video games, it was still like a very gray area. The YouTube content program they have now didn't exist. And then when it did, everyone went, why am I paying you so much money now? Because you literally don't do anything for me anyway. And then, all MCNs basically died at that point because they didn't have any of their own shows, like I said before. But anyway, so Rooster Teeth had a lot of controversies over the years as well, ones that they didn't ever really recover from. But the first, of course, being they got bought out in 2014. So the guys that got paid were like, cool, I don't have to try anymore,
Yeah, I did it. I reached the pinnacle. I get my paycheck and I go home. And at that point, like, you don't even have to worry about the channel succeeding, right? Because you're getting paid.
Yeah. So a couple of the controversies they had in the past is like 2018. I think Micah Burton left the company after allegations she received harassment from the community and the company. Then you also have, like, in 2020, Funhouse was fired for inappropriate content for nudes leaked and just crap behavior. And Ryan Haywood, who was an achievement hunter, cheated on his wife and slept with a 17-year-old fan. I don't even know if this is all alleged or if it's all proven either. So I should maybe be a little careful. Either way, they were fired. Aside from just the controversies, a lot of people that were like kind of the founders of certain projects also left or even passed away, like in 2015. Animator and creator of Ruby, Monty, passed away, and then they tried to continue it afterwards and just wasn't the same. Bruce Green and Lawrence Sontag, they'd left. A lot of different people left for different reasons, and then they even had RTX, which was like their convention. Like that got shut down in 2023, probably because it wasn't making the money that it did or whatever. Achievement Hunter got shut down. I think even eventually, one of the founding members, Byrne, he left. I don't remember when he left, but he was gone also. Like so, pretty much a lot of very key people are gone at the end, right?
Probably all the guys that carried the passion, the
creative people, yeah,
the creative people who actually wanted to do it to begin with.
And then of course, like over time, like they were around for 21 years, and they kind of they made different content, but it's kind of always had the same. I don't know. I would say the same feel, and so a lot of people grew up. Like fans got bored. Content grew stale, and then a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people that made it left, and then they started bringing in like fans to like make stuff. They'll be like, you'd be watching one of their shows. They'd be like, "Hey, I'm Bob. I've been watching Rooster Teeth for forever, and we're doing this show." And then like the next week, that dude's fired because he was a creep or something. It was just wow. It really kind of just devolved into just insanity. But they do, like, there are 150 employees. There's all these contract workers. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, especially if you go and like look at the views. Like, this channel gets more views than Rooster Teeth got now, and it's me, you, and Scott. Yeah. So imagine having like 150 employees. Good, I can't even imagine. They had to be hemorrhaging money, so it makes sense that they got shut down, and it was just a matter of time, really. And again, I'm more impressed of how long it continued to go with how my experience of these things have gone in the past without all the controversies, right?
Yeah. I was familiar with Ruby for like just a little bit, right? Because I think I heard you talk about it. It was an anime?
Yeah, it was like a 3D animated like web series, basically.
And I watched Red versus Blue way back when, but like I don't even know, is this their other big thing, Achievement Hunter?
Well, they have several channels. They have Achievement Hunter. I think Slow Mo guys are part of them too, and there's quite a few other channels that they've I don't know if they've bought them out or absorbed them or whatever.
Oh, I see.
But so I don't know what's going to happen with those. I'm guessing. It depends on what their contract was. Like if Warner owns the rights to their stuff now, like if they were bought out, they may have to be bought back. Yeah. Because I really doubt they're just going to give it back to them like freely. Just here, take it back.
Especially after losing money.
Yep. Yeah. So that's kind of I don't know how that's going to go or what's going to happen with it. In best case scenario, they do just go, well, whatever, you can have it back, I guess. But again, I highly, highly, highly doubt it. I think it's going to be a thing. But I mean, like the Achievement Hunter, I think they can't. Like, I don't think they don't make anything anymore. Like last one was 5 months ago. I think Cow Chop was also bought by Rooster Teeth, which they've 4 years ago they haven't made anything. Or actually. 4 years ago they stopped making content. I believe it's the Slow Mo guys. They got 15 million, and their last upload was 13 days ago. And they usually do like 2 a month, 2 or 3 videos a month. So this may be the last video we see from them in a while. But who knows? And they're not shutting down everything either. There are some things, some content that they're keeping, and they're going to keep going under the Warner Brothers umbrella. But so not everything is going. And Slow Mo guys is probably one of those that will probably continue to go, I imagine. Since they do have like 50 million subs, and they get like 1 million plus views at least every video, it looks like.
Right.
I will say one thing just about the internet in general, and this is probably going to be kind of out of pocket and maybe even seem negative, but I really don't understand whenever there are layoffs for like content creators. Everyone always has to give the disclaimers like, "Oh, I hope they find more work. Oh, I hope they're going to be. I hope the workers are going to be okay." It's like Facebook thoughts and prayers. Like people just say it to say it, but like, the person will make their tweet about how they got laid off, and they'll get like thousands, tens of thousands, or so many retweets and quotes and everything, and everyone's like, "Oh man, yeah." And then 2 weeks, a month later, they still don't have a job. They just have this their biggest tweet they ever made being how they got fired.
Right.
Like, I find it quite.
Got thoughts and prayers.
I find it quite sad, but I guess I'm commenting on it. I'm not offering them a job either, but it's just like a thing that everyone has to say, like, they feel bad for the workers, like video game companies laying off people, and they're like, "Oh, God, the devs, oh, Jesus Christ." And then it'll be like, Google lays off 10,000 employees, and everyone's like, "But their stock is up, yay!"
Right.
Anyway, just a Ken thought of today.
So the people that left, were they able to just like kind of take the money and run? Or were they like, "Oh, I see what this is becoming," and ran?
Well, okay. So some more insight on this is the people that make the money are like the founders, the people that have the stock in the company. Like they're the ones that get paid. It doesn't trickle down. It doesn't go any further than like your CEOs and your VPs and all that. The people that started it, basically. In Maker, back in the day, like I said, when this was a trend, and I got to see how it worked firsthand in a corporate setting, because I would just go sit in their office and like make them uncomfortable because I would watch them not do anything. I could go on forever about how pointless MCNs were, but people would leave constantly. There was so much turnover. Whenever like a big buyout would happen, higher people in the company would go find jobs in higher positions. They would use that to slingshot themselves. Like actually several people that were higher up in Maker when I there went to Rooster Teeth when they got when they got bought. And so it's like everyone knows it's coming. It's not a surprise. It's not like, "Oh, we had no idea that we were going to get shut down." Like they know that it's coming. And a lot of people, like I said, there's a lot of turnover. A majority of the people, at least again in my experience, in my viewing it, a lot of the people that do get fired are like new hires because they're just filling the open positions.
Right.
And the people that like truly had positions in the company are long gone. So the people at the very, very top, they get paid, and of course they step down from their positions and they go and retire, usually. And the people that move up from those positions use their moving up in position to get a job with another company. Like, "Oh, now I'm the VP of marketing or whatever, and I stepped up because I was next in line. The other guy left. And now I'm going to go get a job at a different company because this one's a sinking ship." So it usually just kind of eats itself from the inside anyway. And I think I know that also happened with Rooster Teeth too, but I think it just happened slower over time.
Well, rip red versus blue.
Yeah, I don't even know when the last time they make a red versus blue episode. Red versus blue.
Man, probably 2010, 2009. I don't know.
2 years ago? Oh, the downfall. This is about it. So this is already season 17, updated 5 days ago. Updated 5 days ago. I gotta be a member to watch this.
Wow. No wonder.
Yeah, no wonder. They're putting it behind a paywall. No wonder it all died. Anyway, that's kind of the catch up of like red versus blue and just kind of my thoughts about what happened. And hope you enjoyed that. If today's your birthday, happy birthday. So to my friends. I love you. See you next time. Bye-bye.